Well, welcome back to We're Not Really Here. Welcome back to the Etihad Stadium. And the curtain has come down on a Manchester City second place finish in the Premier League, but with something that is a little bit more, or would you say likely, than a second place finish for Manchester City, considering what they're used to doing. A 5-0 victory at home, something that if you're lucky enough to come to the Etihad on a regular occasion, you will see quite a lot of thumping victories like this. But what you won't see every day is David Silva saying goodbye, and it's such a strange thing, isn't it? Applauding to each and every corner of the Etihad when he knows that there are so few people here, but just sending that message nonetheless that he appreciates everything that all those people who spend most of their time sitting in those seats would want to say to him and have supported him over the years. 5-0 it finishes to Manchester City over Norwich City. 102 goals in the Premier League this season. For the third time in Premier League history, City have hit a century and more. Natalie Pavlek, Michael Brown and Chloe Kelly alongside me to just pick the bones out of that one, and also to consider some of the other marks that might have been met, might have been exceeded, and might have been just missed as well. But some of those actually lie beyond the four walls of the Etihad Stadium. We'll bring you up to date with everything that's happened in the Premier League as well. Just to say, Aston Villa are safe in terms of what was going on at the bottom. There are a couple of games that aren't finished yet further up the top. So, Natalie, we had the conversation about David Silva beforehand. I wanted you to have the first opportunity to reflect upon the moment, 6 minutes from time or so, when he was given the opportunity to come on. And it was rather lovely because even though he knew that there was nobody in the stands, and he could just, I would imagine all those people that he's so used to seeing. But as he did so, a little mark of respect to those who would have been, I imagine, all over the world showing a mark of respect for him.
Yeah, there was clapping taking place on every corner of the planet at that point. What a really emotional moment that was. I wondered if it would happen with there being no fans in the stadium. Quite often, you'll see players coming off with minutes to go so that they can receive that standing ovation that they so rightly deserve. And it was so lovely to see it happen anyway. In the way that he did, he turned to every part of the ground and saying thank you, in that special way. It was so emotional, and for everybody that was in the stadium, for the 300 of us or so that were lucky enough to be there, clapped, and my hands are stinging. I don't know about you guys, we were clapping so hard for him, and it was just really lovely to see. And hopefully at some point we'll get to do it with a full stadium as well, or some sort of event in the future when we can all attend.
Yeah, it's been so significant. You would imagine that there will be something very significant to mark what has been, Michael, such a significant career for Manchester City. We were speaking during the game, we spoke before the match as well, about how regardless of what he has contributed to Manchester City, he continues even now to this day, and it's almost fitting that there aren't people here because he goes under the radar so much. There is just one occasion in the 10 years that he's been at Manchester City that he's won Player of the Month. He's been in 2 PFA Teams of the Year over the course of those 10 years. He is an extraordinary contributor to Manchester City, so important, so pivotal, and yet just with a whisper, off he goes in the Premier League, almost to just reflect exactly what he has been doing over the course of that decade.
Yeah, it was surreal, wasn't it, when his number came up to come off the pitch, and literally as he's in the centre circle, all his teammates there, all coming around to give him the applause. Up in the stands, we've seen the directors, everybody involved with the club, also on the feet. You probably won't get to see those pictures, but right throughout, down below, and it was fantastic, and you could see it meant so much to him, and he's clapping to all the corners. And it must be like a strange situation. I've left football clubs where you say your goodbyes, you know it's over, and it's really, really sad, but especially for 10 years. And he sort of said, I'm here, all the City supporters. It was brilliant to see, and he really tried to get his goal, didn't he? He coming down, he went on his left, jink, jink, jink straight. The goalkeeper just wasn't meant to be, but again, it was really a good send-off, and he's going to get a proper one when the time's right.
Yeah, he got closer and closer and closer, but eventually Tim Krul was the man who really denied David Silva that very special goal. In 10 years' time, Chloe, you can just imagine yourself not even saying goodbye. You're still young. You will be in 10 years' time. But it was just from a player's point of view. How aware are you of wanting to perhaps say thank you, even if it is a strange circumstance in which to do it?
Yeah, definitely. I think he just shows his respect for the club and thanking all the fans, even though they're not here. It's something that they've been over the past 10 years supporting him, and through tough times as well as great times. So I think it just shows his respect, and the players around him, how much they respect him, and the club do respect him. It's a massive journey that he's been on with the club, and it just shows how far he's come as a Man City player.
Yeah, very, very special guy. Should we hear from him? This is David Silva, who's given his thoughts post-match after his final Premier League appearance for Manchester City.
David, you were made captain today. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, of course. I have enjoyed the 10 year, and this one was the last one on the Premier League. But now we have to be focused on the Champions League as well.
You got an emotional send-off from your teammates and even the coaching staff at the end. Was that quite emotional for you personally?
Yeah, emotional because I've been working with them 10 years, no? And I love all of them. So we have a good relationship. I wanna miss all of them.
Are you proud of your Premier League career and what you've achieved?
Yeah, of course. I'm very proud. I couldn't imagine when I come here, no, to win so many titles and the way we won it.
And are there so many moments that stay with you as well?
Yeah, a lot. I'm a lucky guy. I have had a lot of nice moments, and this one as well, the last one.
What will you miss about it here?
Everything, even the weather as well.
There must be more to it than that, though, just the weather. You must miss, there's so much that you've achieved here. There's so much that the fans have taken to your heart as well.
Yeah, I want to miss, everything. To work every day with these people, these amazing people. The workers of the club, they have done my life much easier.
Did you expect that it would be 10 years when it all began?
No. I didn't expect this, but, like I said, because of the people, the way they treat me and my family, I've been here so long.
And as you mentioned earlier as well, a bit more to aim for this season, to finish on a real high.
Yeah, I hope we can win the Champions League. This is a pity because we cannot, play with the people, but the safety of the people is the more important thing now.
Well done on a great career here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Well, his ending, if you like, is understated as the 10 years that preceded it. Rarely do we hear from David Silva. He has not necessarily mastered the language, but he has been able to conduct that post-match interview after his final Premier League match of the season. And just Natalie, a thought on the way that he responds almost to every question that's put to him is incredibly understated, as I say, but it is befitting of everything that we've seen on the field from him. He is a quiet, professional, and yet incredibly mercurial and talented football player.
Extremely humble, sort of, from start to finish. His interview there, he was talking about, the club, the coaching staff, the fans, the people that have made his life easier, the reason he's enjoyed it so much. He's just so unbelievably humble, and you've never heard a bad story about him. There's never been any negative press about him. You've never heard anything about him other than what he does on the pitch, and he's just a real role model, I think, for anybody with children. David Silva is an absolute and utter role model to give them, and that was just, like you say, beautifully understated performance. I'm here, he does his work on the pitch and leaves, and it's kind of sad, sort of fitting, but so sad as well. I want him to hear the roar, I want him to hear but he knows how we all feel about him, and he's just a beautiful man.
Almost hearing the roar in absentia is something that he might appreciate just as much, because he doesn't necessarily want all the pomp and ceremony. We're going to reflect on the final day of the Premier League season and indeed this game here in a moment. But just to round off our conversation about David Silva, Chloe, he's one of those kind of anti-footballer footballers. He is not like how we, certainly the public, consider most footballers to be. But you always have them, don't you, in teams, in squads, in dressing rooms. Not everybody is showboaty, and not everybody has 6 cars and is super rich, and almost it's the balance of all that makes a successful team. So how important is a player like David Silva, but a character like David Silva within the dressing room as well?
Yeah, I think it's just about being humble, and that just shows in his performances, but on and off the pitch. I think just the way he goes about his game, the way he goes about off the pitch, he does his work on the pitch and that's it, and you don't really hear too much of him off the pitch, but that's where he does his talking on the pitch and shows what he's capable of on there.
He's almost like, Michael, a man who happens to play football. And we knew with the story, of course, a couple of years ago with his young son, Matteo, being born prematurely, and clearly family mattered to him a huge amount, as it does, I'm sure, to all of us. But there is that sense, isn't there, that he's just a human being who happens to be very good at football. And I imagine that he will be able to leave the game behind very easily because he has so much more in his life, so many things that fulfill him, and interviews like that kind of prove that point. It's almost like he's shrugging his shoulders. It means a lot to him emotionally, but it's almost like, right, okay, that's all right.
Well, it was, wasn't he? And he seemed to enjoy it and smile and realise that was the end. And coming to it, you know, in the interview, he mentioned his family, how they've been treated over here in the city. And that shows good respect. The City fans do really, really respect the players and look after them. And you don't often see him speak, do you? You know, I watched him in a couple of interviews, and he was a little bit more open. He said a little bit more, but you know, a real humble man. And I'm sure he'll go on and, you know, look back in his career and think how well he's done. But as you said, he probably won't talk about it too much. He'll just get on with it. So, well, I will pop back to Manchester occasionally. So, fantastic career, and as you said, role model more importantly.
Yes, and his midfield partner over the last few years has been Kevin De Bruyne, and he got the assist that got him level with Thierry Henry. We thought he might have got the second assist as well, but it turns out that it was a pesky Norwich defender who, for some reason, managed to do something of a Cruyff turn on the edge of the penalty area that meant that it wasn't KDB's 21st assist. But let's hear from Kevin De Bruyne after this match.
Kevin, decent way to round off the season. Just assess that 5-0 win for us, firstly.
Well, I think it was a good 90 minutes for us because obviously we still got the Champions League to play. So it's good to stay in the rhythm. Now we got 2 weeks to rest up a bit and train hard to be ready. Hopefully we can play another 4 games, but yeah, we still got some football to play.
It was certainly a day of landmarks. Let's start with yourself. Equalling Thierry Henry's assist record for the Premier League season. You must be absolutely delighted with that.
I've got 2 more, so you guys took 2 away from me. Still claiming that one, so for me I was already above, but it is what it is. I need my teammates because obviously I'm helping them creating to score. And if they score it, then I will get it. But it's nice to have, and it's nice to have it with Cherry.
And for Edison as well, the Premier League's Golden Glove winner. Just pay tribute to him quickly.
Well, it's great. Obviously, you know, if you end up in the season with that many clean sheets, means that you done quite well. I think obviously in the 5 years I've been here, I think our defense has been criticised a lot, but I think we do fairly okay. But we lost some points this year, but he's been great since he's been here.
And of course an emotional day as well for David Silva's last Premier League appearance for the club. Just sum up what he's done for this club, but also for yourself in terms of your personal development.
Well, for me, he's probably one of the best players who ever played in the Premier League. Obviously, you can always debate who is what, but I think when you play with him, you can appreciate what he does day in, day out. And I've played with him for 5 years, so I've played a long time with him. We won a lot together, we play well together, and he's going to be a big miss, but yeah, that's why you get young players in and learn from him, and I did that myself, and yeah, hopefully we can end the season well for him. It would be great if we would win the Champions League so he can go on in this way.
Yeah, just a couple of final ones on that Champions League. How vital was it today to maintain a decorum of momentum ahead of that huge game now against Real Madrid?
Well, obviously I think it's good to stay in the rhythm. There's no point slacking a little bit and then say in 2 weeks, we're going to put it another notch again. So that's impossible in football. You need to keep going full pace, and it is good to get the 90 minutes and keep going until the end. That's what we did. And now we've got 2 weeks to prepare ourselves fully. And we got another final in 2 weeks.
Just one final one on the domestic season. You'll have seen the celebrations at Anfield with Liverpool. How much more hungry does that make you individually, but the team as well, to reclaim the title starting on September 12th?
To be honest, I don't really care for now. We tried. I think we played fairly okay, but we lost too many points, and Liverpool was better this season. That's the way it goes, but we still got a lot of things to play for, and let's hope we do well, and then whatever happens next season or in a month, it will happen then.
Top man, Kevin, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Best luck against Madrid as well.
Thank you.
So for David Silva, you might get understatement. For Kevin De Bruyne, you get brutal honesty, but you also get 20 Premier League assists. That is equaling the record of Thierry Henry in Premier League football. So congratulations to Kevin De Bruyne, 20 Premier League assists. And what absolutely fascinates me, Chloe, is the fact that he's still after those two that the dubious goals panel, or whomsoever it is at the moment, who decided to make it not his, and he's remembered that. Are you like that with goals and assists? Are you particularly protective of what you think you might have gotten? If everybody takes it away, you'll remember it for a while.
Yeah, definitely. I think this season I scored from a corner and one of the girls tried to claim it, saying she got a little touch, and I was like, no, definitely not. So I claimed that, and it was the game that I scored a hat-trick in. So, yeah, she definitely wasn't getting that goal off me. But, yeah, I think it just shows how competitive he is, and he could have had another one today if it didn't come off that Norwich defender. But, yeah, just shows his competitiveness, and that's a great thing to have as a player.
But the extraordinary thing is that we're talking about his Premier League assists, and he got another one today, but his two goals were extraordinarily special. It's almost like the second thing we're saying about a player who normally, if they had put in that performance with those goals, that would be the thing we'd be talking about.
Exactly, yeah. I think it just shows the assists that he can bring, but also goals as well, and two different types of finishes as well. I think the first one just showed his individual skill and then hits it top corner, and then the second one, first time finish, is very difficult goal to score, and he's done it with ease, really.
Michael, tell us about the technique, and you'll be able to see the whole game on City Plus from midnight tonight if you haven't been able to watch the goals yet. But you tell us about, even though the first goal might look the more spectacular, the second goal, because of the way that the ball arrived at him, showed extraordinary technique.
It's unbelievable technique. That's what it is, Hugh. And actually to bring it out of your feet and to open your face or your foot up and to have the accuracy. You know, especially when your head's down, you've got to bring it out of your feet and then to pick the far corner. And he puts them right in the corner. And the second one, just saying, that is, the finish is in off the actual corner of the post. How much more accuracy can you get? You know, no goalkeeper gets near it. And that's just that pinpoint finish. It's got the pace, the power, the curl and whip. It's just, honestly, it's you can't say it anymore. It's outstanding finishing, and everybody watching that, growing up, watch it on the TV, see what he is. He's unbelievable. The level and the power he puts on it as well. I could just watch it all day long. We were just laughing, going, "What a finish it was! Brilliant."
Yes, and at the end of a week where the conversation has been about ability and respective ability and relative contributions to football, just have a look at those two goals and the assist, but particularly those two goals. And yes, statement made. Let's just put it that way. For Kevin De Bruyne, a very, very special player. But Natalie, tell us about what people have been saying on social media, because it's been an incredibly important day for Ederson with his Golden Glove, his 16th clean sheet, for David Silva's final game, for Kevin De Bruyne marrying up with Thierry Henry, for Raheem Sterling as well, getting his 20th league goal. I mean, pick your subject, I guess.
Yep, and the subject that everybody is talking about is, despite all of those incredible records, is of course David Silva. Although I have to say, Hugh, I will be on City Plus at midnight tonight rewatching that game several times because I'm with Kevin De Bruyne and it was his assist. So, social media though, as I say, all about David Silva. Now, I can't believe that I'm going to have to read some of these tweets out. I am desperately going to try and not cry. So, this is what you guys have been saying, and you can get in touch with us using the hashtag WRNH, and that's across all of our socials. We love hearing from you. So Raymond Critchlow has said, a few years ago I was fortunate enough to be involved in a training session at City. Silva was one of the players I managed to completely fluke a decent pass to. He complimented me on it. Things don't get much better than that. Wow, that's something you'll remember forever, I'm sure, Raymond. Francis has said, farewell, El Mago, the good guy of football and a true magician on the pitch. Thank you for giving your gift of play and your heart and soul to Man City, even when times were tough. You'll be very much missed by every single City fan. May the blue moon always shine on you. Francis, stop it. Right, James has said, and put this brilliant picture up again that's been going around, this beautiful picture of David Silva 10 years ago and David Silva now with all of the trophies he's won here, which is a lot. A sensational Silva. It's been an amazing 10 years, the best player in a Manchester City history and possibly one of the best ever to play in the Premier League. You will be missed. You're magical. Kez has said it's the last Premier League game for El Mago today. Absolutely gutted to see him go, but feel so lucky to see his genius in the flesh. He truly is the greatest best player I've seen. Good luck, Silva, and thank you for the amazing memories. And there's loads of you that have got pictures with Silva that you're sending us. I work here and I haven't got a picture with Silva. I'm hugely jealous because Grace has got a brilliant one there. Such an amazing talent. An honour to have met and watched you play for 10 years. We will miss you. And Ben Hornby, that's a great... Oh, love another picture, and I absolutely love the look on the kid's face looking up to David Silva. 3.5 years ago, my boy Sam had the pleasure of being a mascot at City. I thought it was a good time to share by far and away our favourite photo of the day. It's brilliant. Sam is just in awe. And then Asrif has said, a note for Silva. Thank you for the decade of magic. That sums it up lovely. And 2 more to go. Alex says, don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Thank you. And then the last one comes from Nigel, and I love this tweet. It is a picture of David Silva and Nigel's dad, and it says, for most Man City fans, Silva is the greatest player they have ever seen in a sky blue shirt. It's only because my dad has been watching City since the 1930s that David is his second.
And thank you for all your contributions. Hashtag WNRH. We'll have Pep Guardiola in just a moment, but we wanted to show you what else happened in the Premier League today. It finished 5-0 to Manchester City here at the Etihad against Norwich City. But I mentioned that Aston Villa stayed up by the skin of their teeth in the end. It was a very dramatic final few minutes in the race to avoid the drop in the Premier League, because in the end, Aston Villa drew 1-1 at West Ham. They took the lead through Jack Grealish with 6 minutes to go, but then West Ham equalised just 2 minutes later, and for a moment, because Bournemouth won at Everton by 3-1, Watford just lost at Arsenal by 3-2. If Villa had conceded another goal, they would have gone down as well. But as it happens, Villa are safe. Watford and Bournemouth join Norwich in the Championship next season. And it is Manchester United and Chelsea who finished 3rd and 4th, respectively. United ended up winning 2-0 at Leicester, who eventually went down to 10 men by the end. And 2-0 it was indeed. Chelsea, they beat Wolves by 2-0, and that means that Chelsea are 4th. Leicester and Spurs it is who qualify for the Europa League, because Spurs got a draw at Crystal Palace, but Wolves lost at Chelsea. Just some reflections on that, Michael. It's all kind of sorted out in the way that probably you would have most predicted, but it took a bit of a roundabout route to get there.
It did, and we were sat there watching the scores and thinking, what's going to happen? Grealish scores for Aston Villa, and looked like Watford were nowhere near coming back, so there was some tails. And you look at Bournemouth there, a wonderful result on the last day. Too little, too late. They performed like that, it would have been a different story. And then at the top of the pitch, Leicester City, what a decline since Christmas. They were in such a wonderful position, and then they managed to tail away. Yes, they had those injuries, but a recovery by Manchester United, and notably Chelsea. European spots, as you say, were very, very tight. My old club Spurs managed to get there at 6, and Wolves are holding out at 7th position, hopefully, depending on the FA Cup final. So a real exciting end to the season, but notably it was the Manchester City 5-0 result that we were all wanting to see.
Yeah, Wolves will qualify for the Europa League if Chelsea win the FA Cup final against Arsenal, or if Wolves manage to win the Europa League, they will get into the Champions League. But let's not go down that particular cul-de-sac. Before we go, we wanted you to hear from one final time in the Premier League, at least, from Pep Guardiola. Here is the City boss after that 5-0 win over Norwich.
Pep, what was your assessment of that victory today?
Well, we finished the season, so a good game in terms of rhythm and everything. We lost some games in the last games, but in general we scored a goal, so we were able to make an individual prizes for our players. And we finish in comfortable 2nd position in the Premier League.
Yeah, with 100 goals again in the Premier League and another clean sheet for Ederson. Were you pleased with those milestones?
Yeah, of course. And at the end, when you score a lot of goals, more 100 goals is the sense of the football, no? Score goals, and for our people, and I think they enjoy it. Eddie, because he deserved it, he made an incredible season, and and Kevin as well for incredible assist, and it was a good day for us. Now we have time to prepare our final against Madrid.
There was an emotional send-off for David Silva amongst the players and the coaching staff. How do you sum up his career here?
I think, unfortunately, without the crowd, but he's coming back. But I think he felt how important he was for us in this period together, but especially in these 10 years. and for the players on the pitch, off the pitch, staff and everyone. So yeah, hopefully he can come back one day next season or when we'll be open, and he can get you know, the final day for him.
And what shape do you feel the club is now going into this European challenge you have?
Well, now is today regeneration. We have one day off, and now we're going to make a good training sessions to prepare and try to arrive the game against Madrid with the feeling that is what an honor to play this game, free of our mind, and do everything what we have in our minds and our bodies to do and try to go through. This is our target this 2 weeks.
Thanks for talking to us.
You're very welcome.
One more, yeah.
BBC?
Yeah.
It is Ederson's golden glove, although I'm not entirely sure he wields the same power that particular glove did in the Marvel Extended Universe. As much as you know about the Avengers, Michael, perhaps you could just illustrate how crucial Ederson has been to Manchester City, not just with the saves that he made even today, but also generally speaking over the course of the season.
Well, it's about his concentration levels. It's so long in games that you don't see him. He's then focused. He makes great saves. His distribution also is amazing, the ability that he has with his left foot. So it's great to get an individual award, because he'd probably be a little bit disappointed with some of the goals conceded, and he still goes and gets the golden glove and just, as I say, top of the pitch. The amount of goals City have scored, it's not been a title-winning one, but still a very, very successful season.
Everybody, Natalie, that we've heard from after the game has mentioned Real Madrid. 2 weeks away and so important, and it's been in their back of their minds for the last at least week, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's been in the back of our minds since the game, since we beat them 2-1. And that game here was going to be the greatest atmosphere I think we'd ever had. But, you know, we looked brilliant today, especially sort of at different points of the game. Since the restart, we've had some incredible performances. So going into this Real Madrid game, I'm so excited. I feel so optimistic. I really feel like, you know, stars are aligning here for us to win it. David Silva's going to lift the Champions League before he goes. Yeah. Come on, I can't wait 2 weeks. I don't know how we're going to wait 2 weeks. We've had football about 3 times a week.
I know, it's feast and famine. And Chloe, the stars are aligning. We have a star in our midst today. Thank you for joining us, Chloe. Your first impressions of a stadium that you had not been to before?
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. An honour to be here, especially for a special day for David Silva, final Premier League game. And yeah, absolute honour to be here today. And I'm looking forward to getting it going with Man City and hopefully play here one day. It's a great stadium.
Well, thank you for being with us, Chloe Kelly, to Michael Brown, to Natalie Pavlek as well. Manchester City scored more than 100 goals. They've got a record-equalling assist merchant in Kevin De Bruyne. They've got Raheem Sterling, a first 20-goal top-flight Englishman since the 1970s for Manchester City as well. More goals, more records, an extraordinary day once again for Manchester City. But over 10 glorious years and 11 major trophies, it has been David Silva's decade. You know, he said he'd like to be remembered as a good guy who enjoys football. I hope the people enjoyed my football as well. Well, maybe not in the stadium, David, but all around the world, they certainly did. Good night.
El otro entrenador venía y le decía, ese niño tiene manera y ese niño va a llegar lejos.
El padre siempre decía, este me retira a mí, este me retira a mí, al final mira.
Este no va a ganar dinero nosotros para comprar un chalet.
Periódico y papel y le hacía como una pelota y lo ponía aquí fuera a jugar.
Es uno de los jugadores más talentosos que ha dado el fútbol español sin ninguna duda.
Yo cuando estaba en Barcelona decía, oh, qué bueno este tío, cómo me gustaría tenerlo.
Mi tierra, ¿no? Aquí nací, me crié. Creo que al final te hace a ti como jugador.